like I was saying before, I've been watching Macross Plus, and the actor who voiced one of the main characters, Brian Cranston, was in it.
What?
Yeah, yeah, he's really in there. I double checked. He's really in there. He's one of the main characters, and it's like a mini series of Cowboy Bebop of these three friends. They were like real cool with each other, and they split up because they had different ideas, and it's a real cool flick, man.
Well, I heard that Macross isn't that like a prequel or sequel to Robotech or something?
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's a connection with Robotech. I don't know where it falls in the timeline, but it was still a cool
Robotech is sort of like a how can I put this? Robotech's the best way to describe it. It's like what America did with Power Rangers, that they combine different shows, and that's the result.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
but
like
this wasn't like stop footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, isn't the Robot... Was it Robotech was actually Robotech and also two other shows?
Yeah, that's the thing. So, yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's... I remember exactly what, but it is something with that. So, Macross Plus is like the real one, I think. So,
Well, Kai, it actually does surprise me that you said that because Bryan Cranston actually got started in voice acting.
Yeah.
Villains and Power Rangers.
Yeah, there you go.
Might have been the same like distribution company or something.
Yeah, so I just been watching that and some old anime, and one more thing. This is the last anime I'm gonna let you speak, Merlin, because you talk about this on your Patreon. I've been watching the old series of Beyblade.
Oh no!
let's Beyblade! Let it rip!
Oh my god!
I'm sure that everybody here knows about it, but yes, for anybody else listening, one of my most recent Patreon requests, because they gave me a nice donation, was I have to watch like all of Beyblade Metal last week.
Dude, I want to review it too, but god damn, it's like it's nothing but JoJo with spinning tops. That's all it is. JoJo with spinning tops.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I remember.
Good luck. Anyway, enough about me talking. What you been watching, bro?
Well, my anime watching was pretty light last year, I admit, but well, obviously I watched some of Berserk 2016, which I think we all have mixed feelings about.
Yeah.
Did you said you watched some movies? Did you watch the Kimi no Wa? Kimi no Nawa. There you go. Yeah.
The one anime movie I watched was Boy and the Beast.
Oh, I saw that.
That was pretty good. I liked that one. I heard there were some really good ones that came out that I do want to get to, but I couldn't catch up on all of them. I think was there a new Studio Ghibli one just recently released?
Oh, was it Wolf something? Wolf Mother?
Wolf Children? Is that one?
No, there was one. I think it was Miss Hokusai or something like that.
Because I heard is it Miyazaki's coming back again? I think.
Well, I mean, Miyazaki just says he's on retirement just so people will stop interviewing him, and then when he decides to come back, then he, works on it. So he doesn't do like true retirements. He just goes on like breaks, and then because I don't think that man is ever gonna stop until he's like actually dead. To be honest,
I hope that.
So there is one. Oh wow, it's production IG. I thought it was Ghibli. Because it's totally done in Ghibli style. But it's called Miss Hokusai, 2015. It's not this year.
Wow, I'm looking at actually a lot of the anime movies from last year. I missed a bunch of these.
You know what's weird? Like, you mentioned the Miss Hokusai, right? Like, I shit you not, for some reason, I was getting a haircut on Saturday, and they had the Spanish news on, and that actually briefly popped up there.
Huh.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure what it was about, and I just saw it briefly there, like, huh, why is there anime footage on the Spanish news?
If I remember correctly, so like a true story about a female artist from back then or something.
Maybe.
Back when, it wasn't appropriate for women to do that sort of job or something.
Now I'm interested to know.
But what is the last Ghibli movie that came out? I am going to look.
Well, while you're looking, Shot, I actually looked up Robotech right now. Robotech is a combination of is an 85-episode science fiction anime produced by Harmony Gold USA in association with Tatsunoko Production, released in USA in 85, and it's combined with 3 unrelated anime series. Being it's combined with Super Dimension Fortress Macross, Super Dimension Century Orgus, and Fang of the Sun Dugram.
But the strange thing, when I was watching, it wasn't like stock footage. This was like something real good, like like it was something like maybe Studio Bones or Studio Sunrise, or that's the company.
Yeah, because you said you saw Macross Plus, so that was that was made in what was that one?
94?
Yeah, it's an OVA series, like 94. Yeah, 94.
So, I think the movie you're talking about, Merlin, the one that recently came out, isn't actually a recent movie. It's like they remastered not Whisper of the Heart, Only Yesterday, and that was from 1991. But
What?
they had, because it's one of the Ghibli movies that never came out in English at all, and so they decided to, make it into English, and then they had like a short run in the theaters over here in the States in 2016. So I think that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Yeah, I missed that, but yeah, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely.
But the latest one was when Marnie was there,
yes,
and
that one.
Kaguya Hime and The Wind Rises in 2013.
I like the one when I was played that. That was good.
Yeah.
But let's see. Other shows, I mean, like Sean, I did watch some Drifters. I really liked the concept for the show, and I thought the animation was really cool. Definitely a good hook, but I say, Sean, maybe you can lean into this a little bit. I thought that it might be harder for maybe a Western audience to appreciate it because all the different warriors were like different parts of Japanese history. So I felt like when they said this person, it was like, it's this big deal. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
So, yeah, I guess there is that you'd be surprised about how many people, though, are interested in Japanese culture solely because of the history only, so I have met quite a few. So, I mean, I guess for history buffs and stuff like that, like, they would probably really love it in the same way that history buffs in Japan really loved the movie Marie Antoinette, just because it was history, So, I mean, I would assume that's kind of like the closed, a really narrow.
That makes me feel bad because I'm a big history buff, but I will admit my knowledge of Japanese, like feudal history, is pretty limited. So
as is mine. Mine is completely. Yeah, I don't know what's going on most of the time. However, I will say this that the Oda Nobunaga thing has been done so much. Like
he's in a lot of stuff,
like light novels and anime and in drama and movies, and I'm just like, where it's just like Oda Nobunaga is actually a person from the future. Here's a show about it, and Oda Nobunaga is actually a woman. Here's an anime about it, or something. And it's just been so overdone in the past 5 years that when I saw it again in Drifters, I was like, oh my god, again.
Nobunaga.
But it was like, the concept of the show was different enough that I was like, oh, okay, all right. Maybe this is good. This is okay. But like the Oda Nobunaga thing has been done so much that the moment that I see that character or that name in the title, I'm like, nope, that's a little too.
My experience with Nobunaga, the most recent one that I recall was like in the '90s Go Super Mikami movie. In that one, he was a vampire.
Right, like he's basically, Oda Nobunaga was actually a little girl, yay, or it's just so over that.
I did want to ask a general question to you guys about anime from last year. What did everybody think about Mob Psycho?
Oh, I like that one.
About that.
Yeah.
I'll go last. Go ahead. I did that one.
Well, I've been hearing a couple of people like they were a little hesitant on going in, but the more you watch, the more better it goes. Like even in terms of storytelling, because of I almost consider it a superhero story simply because of the morals, because with great power comes with great responsibility type of thing. And then I just like the fact how it got into more emotional territory with, because at the end of the day, even though there's a lot of comedy, Mob Psycho was about a middle schooler going through like a lot of social anxiety.
Big time.
Yeah, and also
But,
he can't express himself or anything, and then you get the whole family moments, which makes it even more emotional. And my favorite part is when like, hey, it's kind of manly.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Oh,
Font, yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say, I
whoever.
didn't even see it.
Oh,
Oh.
well, the reason I brought it up was because, obviously because of the One Punch Man connection, I know that there was a lot of immediate comparisons. The style's obviously there, and it's a very different show, but it does have some of the same elements, and I don't know
So
if, like,
it's made by the same creator of
Yeah.
One Punch Man. Yeah.
yeah,
So
figured, yeah.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering the initial comparisons people are going to have. Do you think that might have hurt it a little bit? Because like a couple other shows this year, I feel like there was a lot of hype about it, but it never did reach the One Punch Man hype, and it just feels like it's kind of teetered off since then. I think.
Well,
That's interesting.
so to me, my
So I
answer's simplistic. I just feel like people are just superficial with One Punch Man like a lot because they just want the. I mean, just look at all the YouTube videos out there about like One Punch Man versus One Punch Man stronger, One Punch Man greatest superhero ever. Fuck.
See, I sense some resentment about the One Punch Man fandom, sir. A little bit.
So my 2 cents about that, just specifically about what you just said, is One Punch Man had a lot more money in its production,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in terms of localizing it. There was a lot more effort in advertising for it, and One Punch Man was, I think it was one of those series that like people who don't watch anime actually watched it as well. Whereas Mob Psycho, like 100 or 500, what is it?
100.
Well, yeah, Mob Psycho 100. There wasn't that much kind of effort in making it known.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
so, but from my point of view, especially doing the con circuit, as soon as like it was over, there was a huge actually following for it. In the con circuit, of course, but like outside of the con and outside of like I guess that subculture and stuff, I'm not so sure. I can't say. I only know that much effort went into One Punch Man because my husband's ex-coworker is the one now translating that series, so he often talks about like all the stuff that they do for it. So like hearing it from that, like that makes sense.
That probably sounds right, actually.
Yeah, so I think that's probably what it is, but I do know that Mob Psycho 100 has a huge female following.
Huh.
From my point of view, in comparison to the amount of females that watch One Punch Man, which is quite high, I'm sure, but like ratio-wise, I feel like in Japan, there are probably more female fans. And I find that to be true also in the con as well. Because whenever somebody asks me to draw characters from the show, it's usually a girl.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Comparison.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to keep like taking topics, but actually related to that, which you're going to stay on a similar topic. This is even more true because the hype was definitely bigger for this show, but it just got so quiet immediately. Can anybody guess what I'm going to talk about next?
Oh shit! Wait! I knew it. I knew this. I know this.
I know you know it.
God damn! What the fuck was this?
I have no idea.
It's like biggest thing ever, and then nothing.
Shit! What the?
I don't know.
Give me a hint. I know I should know this.
Well, it's very similar to One Punch Man.
You're not. Was it My Hero Academia?
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, I said it at the same time though.
Like hype for that was big while it was on, like a lot of seasonal shows, and I get it.
It'll come back in March.
Like once it was over, it's like just nothing.
It'll come back in March, Merlin. What are you talking about?
Where was it available at? Because I think that had a lot to do with where it was.
Everywhere.
Streaming.
Funimation.
Everywhere.
Funimation and Crunchyroll, I think.
But was it on Crunchyroll?
I'm not sure, but I know Funimation had it because Funimation dubbed it like 3 weeks after the initial premiere.
So it's not on Crunchyroll, which is strange, because I thought the whole merging with Funimation and Crunchyroll is that they were going to share whatever they had, but that was my misunderstanding, apparently.
But yeah, I mean, it was streamed up as soon as it popped up, so I don't know.
Which is awesome. But I mean, it's like one of those things where I don't know the enduringness of the
Well,
fandom.
like, if you're gonna ask me why it's not as successful as One Punch Man, I could summarize that pretty easy as well.
Okay.
It probably just was not as good.
No,
Yeah.
to me, once again, I'm just gonna go with, like, I just have more faith in people, but I just don't. But
Well,
I
you know,
just,
I'll be honest with you. Before you continue, I mean, I don't know if the quality. I didn't like it quite as much as One Punch Man personally.
Mhm.
You know.
Well,
But
did you finish the whole thing or no?
no, I didn't. But
Well,
once again,
there you
it
go.
seemed like pretty standard shonen stuff to me.
Well, that's the thing, because okay, when I first I was supposed to do a review for it, but then I never did. Okay, but the thing is, I wrote a review solely on the anime, like never watching it, never reading beyond that point. I wrote a
I did like the
review.
beginning of the.
Hold on. Let me go. I wrote stuff down. I wrote stuff down. It was mostly negative. It wasn't until
Really?
I started reading beyond that point that I started, like, comparing. Well, one of the reasons it pissed me off so much at the beginning, because it was telling me that this boy was gonna have no powers, and I thought that was the gimmick of the show,
Sure.
But
Sure.
then he does get powers, and then that's what got me so mad at first.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, all right, so my experience is this. Everybody was telling me, Merlin, you gotta watch My Hero Academia, you'll love it because you like the superheroes. So I gave it a chance, and I read that, like, first one shot of the manga, right?
Mhm.
And I really, really liked that. That concept was really cool, but that wasn't the manga story. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I liked that individual short story, and going off beyond that might have been cool with him, like, supporting it with the weapons and everything. But instead, it just starts out with him as a kid. It's just like that's the comparison. So maybe it would take a while to actually catch on,
Yeah. Well, initially he actually was not gonna have powers at all.
which is fine. I think that would be more.
But then they changed it because he thought because the character All Might was actually not even gonna exist without him.
Oh,
I mean, there are a lot of comics right now that are trying to replace to be the next Naruto, basically, because they don't have one yet.
what about Boruto?
Well,
Darn.
that's still kind of Naruto, still, huh? But I mean, like, but for the most part, like Naruto.
Well,
There's Naruto.
well, to go with the academia, it's because it does go to the shonen routes. But what I liked about it is that it was about a boy overcoming being bullied, and I thought that was like the most important part of the beginning. And then towards the final act of the anime, that's when it starts going to the more I guess the X-Men School of Mutants routes, where it's mostly we're gonna do these different types of exams, usually all physical activity. But then the villains show up, and then that's when things start to get a bit interesting, because at the very beginning of the story, they implied what's gonna happen with All Might, or what's gonna go down the road for him, and then I shit you not, literally after that point, which still follows the superhero origin story, how movie one is always that, oh, this is how he got his powers, and, he's gonna test them out, and then, oh, one villain for the movie, then next movie we get the other villains or more interesting shit or something. And it literally goes that same fucking route for the anime and manga story. Because after that, Hero Academia, they get the, your first shonen tournament arc, which is like about probably be 5 or 6 episodes. But then afterwards, you start getting introduced to more concepts of the villainy right off the bat with the hero killer Stain, which, as his name implies, he kills heroes. And then his whole existence causes like a big controversy between like human security, I mean, like hero security, and the relationship with people. And it's sort of like spreading worldwide news, and then more villains start showing up, and that's when things start to get chaotic because no one's really safe from that point. And then we've towards the 90s or hundreds, that's when All Might like has like his best moments, and then you find out about some secrets between All for One and One for All.
Hero,
Yeah.
just be honest with me here.
Yes.
You just like saying All Might, don't you?
Yeah, that's one reason. But the thing is, the current point of Academia, it's been like, obviously when you catch up to a series, it always feels slower. And currently they're more on the exam state, but I do feel like the first 100 chapters are like pretty good, but I really doubt that anime adaptations are gonna gonna go all the way right off the bat. I think they're gonna take their time with it. And that's kind of the reason I feel like it's more story based than action or anything. So that's what I appreciated, but I don't know. I'm assuming the reason people like One Punch Man is that One Punch Man characters are overpowered as hell, too, is that it's more comedic.
The writing for One Punch Man is a little bit more complicated, and it's I guess as immature as the show is, it's more mature, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
but I get what
it
you
requires
mean.
a lot of.
I get what you mean with One
Okay.
Punch Man because mostly because of Saitama's, like own perception of things because he's very very desensitized. But most people don't even see that. A lot of people are just
That's
more
the
into
thing.
the fighting. And
That's the
then
thing that Hero and I kind of hate about it, is that you're right. One Punch Man is a smart show, but people don't pick up on it. They just like it without actually thinking about it.
that and my criticism for One Punch Man in later stories, like what's currently out of the manga, whenever season 2 comes out, is that it's actually less about Saitama and more about other characters. And Saitama's sort of just like there. He's not really feeling anything. Just kind of like occasionally will get angry when someone disses heroes, but that's about it. It's just the same gag over and over. And
They'll just be there to resolve the fight when nobody
yeah,
else
because
sees
it still follows the same problems like One Piece has, or my problem with One Piece is that where there's always an excuse for Luffy not to fight the main villain right off the bat, and then that's how it is with One Punch Man. It's just that all this could be resolved if he went and fought first, but then it's like, oh, Saitama's lost, so you got all these other heroes fighting the villain, and then once the moment he shows up, the story's over. So
Yep.
then the difference with Academia is that the characters is about their growth, is about them learning. Uh, Basically, you're seeing how these group of heroes are being formed and how ridiculously detailed it is in its society. And like I said, the results of Hero Killer staying affects people. It actually inspires more villains to show up, and then other villains. It's really about passing the torch because both the hero and the villains they have a descendant, I guess, or a successor to their next part of the story, and they will determine the conflict of good and evil in future events. So the way Hero Academia is set up, it could go on for like a while. And
Well,
yeah,
well, I'm sure that the My Hero Academia will have, some hype due to some positive things about it. At least my initial thoughts were that it does have positivity. Now, can any of you guys guess what the big hype is going to be returning for this year?
One Punch Man.
No,
No?
I think even more than One Punch Man. Nobody
Oh yeah, that. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
totally forgot about
that.
that one.